Have you ever wondered why some people seem to achieve their goals effortlessly while others struggle for years without much progress? What is it that separates those who succeed from those who constantly fall short? You might think it's talent, luck, or even intelligence, but the truth is something far simpler yet far more powerful: consistency. Success is rarely about doing something spectacular just once or relying on a sudden burst of effort. It's about taking small, deliberate steps every single day and showing up even when you don't feel like it. Imagine two people learning English. One of them studies for just 10 minutes every single day, practicing vocabulary, listening, and speaking. The other sets aside 5 hours to study but only once a month. Who do you think will improve faster? The answer is obvious. Small, repeated efforts compound over time, and the person who practices daily will see remarkable progress, while the one who studies inconsistently will often feel like they are starting from scratch every month. In this video, we are going to explore why consistency is the real secret behind success, not only in learning English but in almost anything you want to achieve, whether it's improving a skill, building better habits, or getting fitter. You will discover how small, regular actions lead to big results, the challenges people face when trying to stay consistent, and practical strategies to keep yourself motivated and on track. By the end of this video, you will have a clear plan to apply consistency in your own life, so you can finally make steady progress and achieve the results you've been dreaming of. So, if you are ready to stop relying on luck or occasional bursts of effort and start building lasting habits that truly work, let's dive in and uncover the power of consistency together. So, what exactly does consistency mean? At its core, consistency is the habit of doing something regularly without giving up, no matter how small the action might seem. It's not about occasional bursts of effort or working hard for a few hours and then stopping. Instead, consistency is about showing up day after day, week after week, and steadily moving toward your goal. When you are consistent, you create momentum, and over time, even small actions can lead to significant results. Think of it like taking small steps toward a big destination. For example, if your goal is to become physically stronger, exercising for just 10 minutes every day will gradually build your strength. However, exercising for 2 hours just once a month will have very little impact. The key difference lies in regularity. The same principle applies to learning, work, health, or any skill you want to improve. Consistency also turns actions into habits. When you repeat something frequently, your brain starts to recognize it as part of your routine, which makes it easier to continue without relying on constant motivation. Over time, these small, repeated actions accumulate and produce results that far exceed the effort of a single, intensive session. In short, consistency is not about doing something perfectly or for a long time all at once. It's about commitment, persistence, and showing up regularly. Even small, daily efforts, when maintained consistently, are what ultimately lead to progress, mastery, and success. One of the most powerful aspects of consistency is how small, repeated actions can lead to big results over time. Success is rarely about doing something enormous all at once. Instead, it comes from performing tiny actions consistently until they become habits. When you repeat an action day after day, it gradually becomes easier, more natural, and eventually automatic. These small steps, though seemingly insignificant at first, compound over time and lead to meaningful progress. Think of it like planting a seed. If you water the seed every day, even just a little, it will grow into a strong, healthy plant. But if you water it only occasionally, it may never sprout, or it may grow weak and struggle to survive. This is the principle behind all skill building, whether it's learning a new language, improving your fitness, or developing any habit. The effort you put in consistently, no matter how small, accumulates over time and produces results that are much greater than the sum of individual efforts. For example, practicing English for just 10 minutes a day might seem minimal. However, over weeks and months, this daily practice builds vocabulary, improves listening skills, and enhances speaking confidence. On the other hand, studying for several hours only once in a while does not create the same progress, because the information is quickly forgotten, and you lose the benefits of regular reinforcement. In essence, the power of small, repeated actions lies in their ability to build momentum and create habits. Each consistent step moves you closer to your goal, and over time, these steps accumulate into significant achievements. The key is to keep moving forward, even with small efforts, every single day. Let's take a closer look at a real-life example of how consistency makes a difference when learning English. Imagine two learners, Person A and Person B. Person A decides to practice English every single day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. During this time, they focus on speaking, listening, repeating sentences, and trying to think in English. It may seem like a small commitment, but over time, it adds up. After 1 month, Person A will have completed 300 minutes of practice, which is already a significant amount. After an entire year of daily practice, they will have spent over 3,600 minutes or more than 60 hours actively improving their English skills. The result is noticeable. Person A becomes more confident, speaks more fluently, and understands English better. On the other hand, Person B chooses to study for 2 hours, but only once a month. Although 2 hours in one session seems substantial, the infrequency makes it difficult to retain knowledge. Each time Person B studies, it feels like starting over, because much of what was learned in the previous session has been forgotten. After 1 year, Person B will have studied for only 24 hours in total. Compared to Person A's steady progress, the difference is enormous. This comparison clearly demonstrates that consistency is more important than the total time spent in one sitting. Regular, daily practice even in small doses leads to far greater improvement than occasional, long study sessions. By making English practice a daily habit, learners can steadily build their skills, gain confidence, and make real progress over time. Consistency brings numerous benefits that go far beyond immediate results. One of the primary advantages is habit formation. When you perform an action regularly, it gradually becomes a natural part of your daily routine. For example, practicing English every morning can become as automatic as brushing your teeth. Over time, you don't have to rely on motivation or reminders as much, because the habit itself drives you to keep going. Another important benefit is increased confidence. Each time you practice consistently, you reinforce your skills and knowledge. As your abilities improve steadily, you naturally feel more comfortable and self-assured. For English learners, this might mean speaking more fluently in conversations, understanding native speakers better, and feeling less anxious when using the language in real-life situations. Consistency also reduces stress and overwhelm. When progress is made through small, manageable steps, you don't feel pressure to achieve everything at once. Instead of cramming information or overexerting yourself, you can focus on steady improvement, which creates a sense of calm and control. Finally, consistency is a direct pathway to success. Most successful people are not necessarily the most talented or intelligent, they are the most persistent. By showing up regularly, committing to small actions every day, and maintaining steady progress, you build momentum that eventually leads to significant accomplishments. In essence, consistency transforms effort into results, turns small actions into lasting habits, and gradually brings you closer to your goals in a way that sporadic effort never can. Maintaining consistency is often the most challenging part of achieving any goal, but with the right strategies, it becomes much more manageable. One of the first steps is to start small. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to do too much at once. Even dedicating just 5 to 10 minutes a day to your goal is enough to build momentum. For example, if your aim is to improve your English, start with a short daily practice, like learning a few new words, listening to a short podcast, or practicing a brief conversation. Next, create a routine. Setting a fixed time for your practice helps transform it into a habit. For instance, you might decide to study English every morning before breakfast or every evening before bed. By attaching the activity to a specific time, your brain begins to expect and prepare for it, making it easier to stick with your plan. Another key strategy is to track your progress. Keeping a notebook, using an app, or marking your achievements on a calendar allows you to see how far you've come. Progress, no matter how small, motivates you to continue. It is also important to stay motivated and patient. Remind yourself why you started and imagine how good you will feel once you reach your goal. Understand that results take time and trust the process. Finally, remember that perfection is not the goal. Consistency is about showing up every day and giving your best effort, even when it feels small or imperfect. By starting small, establishing routines, tracking progress, and staying patient, you can maintain consistency and steadily move toward success in any area of your life. The science behind consistency helps explain why small, repeated actions are so effective. One of the key concepts is neuroplasticity, which is the brain's remarkable ability to change and adapt. When we repeatedly perform an action, our brain creates and strengthens neural pathways that make the activity easier and more automatic over time. The more we practice, the stronger these pathways become, much like a trail in the forest becoming clearer as more people walk on it. For example, when you first learn to ride a bicycle, you have to consciously focus on balancing, pedaling, and steering all at the same time. Initially, it feels challenging and unnatural. However, with repeated practice, your brain strengthens the connections necessary to perform these tasks automatically. Eventually, riding a bike becomes effortless, and you don't have to think about each movement consciously. The same principle applies to learning English or any new skill. By practicing consistently, whether it's speaking, listening, or reading, your brain gradually adapts and makes these actions more natural. If you stop practicing, however, the neural pathways weaken, and your skills diminish over time. Another way to understand this is to think of a dirt road. If cars drive on it every day, the path becomes smooth and clear. But if the road isn't used for months, grass begins to grow, and the path disappears. Similarly, the more consistently you practice a skill, the easier it becomes and the more deeply it is embedded in your brain. In short, consistency strengthens your brain like a muscle, making repeated actions easier, more automatic, and ultimately more effective in achieving long-term success. Another powerful concept related to consistency is the compound effect, which shows how small daily improvements can lead to massive results over time. The compound effect works by taking tiny, seemingly insignificant actions and repeating them consistently. At first, the changes may feel minimal, and you might not notice immediate progress. However, as time goes on, these small actions accumulate, creating results far greater than expected. For example, consider saving money. Putting just $1 into a savings account every day might not seem like much initially. After 1 year, you would have saved $365. But after 10 years, your consistent daily savings would total $3,650, and if you continue adding interest, the amount grows even more significantly. The same principle applies to learning a language or improving any skill. Learning just one new English word each day may feel tiny, but after a year, you would know 365 words. After 5 years, that number increases to 1,825 words, providing a strong foundation for effective communication. This concept illustrates that success doesn't happen overnight. Instead, it is the result of repeated, small, intentional efforts that build on each other over time. Even minimal daily progress, when compounded consistently, can produce remarkable outcomes. The compound effect is a reminder that every small step matters. By committing to regular practice, no matter how brief or simple, you set in motion a process that gradually leads to meaningful and lasting success. In essence, tiny consistent actions, compounded over time, have the power to transform your life. To better understand the power of consistency, let's look at some real-life examples of people who achieved success through persistent effort. Take athletes, for instance. The best athletes in the world don't become champions overnight. They train every single day, even when they don't feel motivated. A basketball player who practices shooting 100 free throws daily will improve steadily and develop accuracy far faster than someone who only practices once a month. The small, repeated efforts compound over time, leading to mastery and peak performance. Consistency also plays a crucial role in business. Successful entrepreneurs like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos did not build their companies in a single day. They worked consistently on their ideas, learning from mistakes and improving a little every day. Their long-term commitment, even through failures and setbacks, allowed them to create companies that are now globally recognized. Language learning provides another clear example. Imagine two people studying English. Person A dedicates 30 minutes every day to practice, while Person B studies for 5 hours once a month. Although Person B invests more time in one session, they forget most of what they learned due to infrequent practice. Person A, on the other hand, steadily improves because of consistent daily repetition. Over time, this consistent effort leads to much faster progress and better retention of knowledge. These examples demonstrate a simple truth: success is rarely the result of talent alone, it comes from consistent effort over time. Whether in sports, business, or learning, those who show up every day even in small ways are the ones who achieve extraordinary results. Even with the best intentions, staying consistent is not always easy. Many people start with great energy but eventually face obstacles that make them stop. One of the most common challenges is lack of motivation. Motivation is temporary. Some days you feel excited and ready to take action, while other days you don't feel like doing anything. This is why discipline is far more important than motivation. Discipline means taking action even when you don't feel like it. Creating a daily routine, writing down your goals, and reminding yourself why you started are all ways to overcome this challenge. Often, motivation follows action, not the other way around. Another major challenge is distractions and excuses. Social media, television, and other activities can easily pull your attention away, while excuses like "I don't have time" or "I'm too tired" prevent progress. To overcome this, remove distractions from your environment, plan ahead, and use strategies like the 2-minute rule, which encourages starting with just a small, manageable action. A third challenge is not seeing quick results. Many people give up because they expect immediate progress. Learning a language, building fitness, or developing a new skill takes time, just like planting a seed. Even if it seems like nothing is changing, small progress is adding up. To overcome this, focus on celebrating small wins, track your progress, and practice patience. By understanding these common challenges and applying practical strategies, discipline over motivation, reducing distractions, and focusing on small improvements, you can maintain consistency and steadily move toward your goals, even when obstacles arise. Staying consistent can feel overwhelming, but it becomes much easier when you follow a simple 3-step formula. The first step is to start small. Many people fail because they try to do too much at once and become discouraged. Instead of aiming to master a skill overnight, break it into tiny, manageable actions. For example, if you want to learn English, start by learning 5 new words a day or practicing a short conversation. Small actions are easier to maintain, and over time, they accumulate into significant progress. The second step is to stay accountable. When you track your progress, you are more likely to stick with your routine. This can be done using a journal, a habit tracking app, or even a learning partner who can check in with you. Seeing how far you've come motivates you to continue and reinforces the habit. Accountability creates a sense of responsibility, making it harder to skip a day and easier to stay consistent over the long term. The third and final step is to make it a habit. Habits are actions that become automatic over time, requiring less effort and motivation. To form a habit, try performing your activity at the same time every day and attach it to something you already do, like practicing English right after breakfast. Over a few weeks, your brain will associate the action with your routine, making consistency almost effortless. By following these 3 steps, start small, stay accountable, and make it a habit, you can maintain consistency, build momentum, and achieve long-term success in any area of your life. Consistency is the bridge between setting a goal and actually achieving it. It's not about being perfect or having endless motivation, it's about showing up every day, even when it's hard or inconvenient. Every small action you take contributes to your progress, and over time, these actions accumulate into meaningful results. Just like learning to ride a bike, you may fall or struggle at first, but persistence leads to mastery. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit often comes down to one simple factor: consistency. So, what can you do right now to start building this powerful habit? Begin with one small action related to your goal. Even if it takes only 2 minutes, take that step today. Repeat it tomorrow and the next day, and continue tracking your progress. Find someone to hold you accountable: a friend, a mentor, or even a community online. Celebrate each small win, no matter how minor it seems, because these milestones reinforce your habit and motivate you to keep going. Remember, consistency is not about dramatic changes overnight. It's about showing up, day after day, steadily moving toward your goals. You are capable of achieving amazing things, but only if you commit to the process and take consistent action. Start today. Make it a part of your daily routine. Trust the journey, stay patient, and watch how your small, persistent steps transform your life over time. Consistency is not just a habit, it's the secret to long-term success. Take one small step today, stay consistent, and you will achieve the results you've been dreaming of.